leaks are real, but the news is fake. I got news for you. The people on the Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff, for one, said that the people in the intelligence community who are going to him do have major concerns about the president. He said, I think those concerns take a number of forms. He said, what the intelligence community considers their most sacred obligation is to protect the very best, the very best intelligence and to protect the people that are producing it. See, here's the thing. The people in the intelligence community, they take an oath to protect and defend the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And they are living up to their oath when they say, we do not trust this president with methods and sources and various collection activities. We don't want to tell him. We don't trust him. We don't think he's lucid. We don't think he's, with it. We don't think he understands the world. We don't think he gets what we do, how we put our lives in danger, or what analysts do to assess the information that is collected for its veracity. He doesn't get it. And we don't want to expose anything valuable to keep that we need to keep America safe from all enemies, foreign and domestic, by telling it to him. He's got lunatics around him. People that run fake news sites like Steve Bannon of Breitbart. We don't trust him. We watch his press briefings. He calls on Town Hall and Christian Broadcasting. It's ridiculous. And so they're going to Congress and they're telling Congress we have concerns. And Congress is telling the media what they know about the concerns. Oh, it's just so amazing. And that's why the leaks, but he just went on and on and on. It was lunatic. It was lunacy. This is the most unhinged president I've ever seen. And we lived through W, who, wore a codpiece and stood on an aircraft carrier off of San Diego to try and pretend he was in the Gulf of Hormuz. And he was really in San Diego, and he stood under a sign that said Mission Impossible and called himself the commander guy. And we thought that was lunacy. It's nothing. It's nothing. And all that lunatic did was crash our economy and take us into two wars and ride up the debt to, a couple of the multiple trillions of dollars, right? 6 trillion over here and 7 trillion over there and 6 billion gets lost. And oh my God. And that was nothing. Nothing. He's delusional, man. He put every Wall Street hedge fund manager he ever ran into Treasury. And Steve Mnuchin, the foreclosure king, was just confirmed as Secretary of the Treasury, 2 days ago? Steve Mnuchin, the man who needs a bowel movement worse than any constipated person I have ever seen in my life, is now the Secretary of the Treasury. Oh my God. Mike Pompeo, a congressman from Kansas, is in charge of the CIA. What the? I have some Jewish relatives. 48 bomb threats have been called in to Jewish centers and synagogues. That's what the reporter from Israel was asking him about. We showed you the story from Boca Raton, this mother whose son is studying in Israel right now. They live in a community that is well known in Boca Raton to be home to elderly Holocaust survivors and their children because they're Orthodox Jews. And so they like to be close to the temple and they like to be close to each other so that when Shabbat comes on Friday, they can walk to each other's houses. So, this is one of the things that they consider when they pick a place to live. So this community is very well known to people to be an Orthodox Jewish community where 72-year-olds, and their children and their grandchildren all live. This 20-year-old kid, his car was just sitting, unattended, and somebody went there and painted a giant 2-foot swastika on it. That's just the latest one. So that's what the reporter was asking him about. And he says, I have some Jewish friends. And in fact, my daughter converted. So, and I won. And I think I won because the country is so divided. I won. So he's saying, basically, he knows that there are anti-Semites who voted for him, and that's who elected him, and that's how I won. Then today, There was another question about that. They asked it three times today, hoping for a damn answer. Oh my God. He said, no one in my community has ever accused you of being anti-Semitic. And then somebody else followed up and said, Mr. President, this is not about your personality. This is not about you. This is about things that are really happening. 48 bomb threats have been called into Jewish centers. What are you going to do to address this? This man stood up and said, no one in my community has ever called you anti-Semitic to my knowledge. This has nothing to do with you and your personality this is about real things. So what are you going to do about it? He says he lied. He stood up. He said he was going to ask me a simple question. No, you went looking for a friendly reporter. You saw an Orthodox Jew. You assumed he was going to be friendly to you, and then he was. And then he asked you a question. The question said, I don't believe you're anti-Semitic. But the fact is that there are anti-Semitic activities. There are posters being put up everywhere. There's spray painting of swastikas going on. There are people on the internet that are saying Jews ought to be in ovens now. And 48 bomb threats have been called into Jewish centers and synagogues. What are you going to do about it? How do you solve the problem of the rise of anti-Semitism in this country? And he says, I find your question insulting. That's why we say he's unhinged. He has no connection to reality. Everything has to be funneled through the vessel that is Donald Trump. And if he doesn't like the result that he's seeing in the country, then it's not happening.